everyone, welcome. I'm William Keane. I've been performing comedy for 24 years, and I've been helping people write stand-up and teaching it for about 12 years. And this is a workshop that I do at business schools, comedy festivals, called The Art of the Joke, and it sort of gives you the fundamentals of how I view comedy. So if you watch any of our analysis videos, you can sort of see why we're diagnosing things the way we do and give you a foundation to sort of like write comedy and start pulling premise and just making things funny, whether that be for stand-up, for improv, for just adding something into a business presentation, or for your life with friends, making your stories not boring. So lesson one, straight up top. Patterns. Your brain likes patterns. It just does. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And your brain doesn't like when patterns go unfulfilled. It's sort of like, I gotta pay attention to the pattern, and I gotta pay attention when the pattern isn't fulfilled. And so if you want to hijack your audience, your friends' brains to pay attention to you, you either need to be establishing patterns or breaking established patterns. Whether that be with your language, whether that be literally with like a rule of threes, with your hand gestures. And that comes from, imagine, we're ancient times in the woods and someone eats some berries and then they get sick. Your brain's never seen those berries before, doesn't know what to think. Okay, whatever. But then the next day, someone eats those berries. My tummy! And they get sick. Your brain starts to go, wait a minute. There might be a connection here. I bet those berries make people sick. And then the next day, someone comes along. They eat those berries. Your brain goes, I bet they get sick. Oh, yeah. I bet they get sick. Let's see. Let's wait and find out. And then when they, my tummy, the pain, both ends. Oh, God. When they get sick, your brain goes, yes, you discovered a pattern. This will help us survive. Do not eat those berries. Here are the good chemicals, you dum-dum. Please do this more, right? And so you live your life continually knowing that about those berries, and your brain gives you good chemicals to reward you for knowing that, and it gets less and less over time, but you still get them. Okay, now imagine one day someone grabs those berries, cooks those berries, and then eats them. Your brain's like, they're gonna get sick. Like don't tell me that they're not gonna get sick. You and I both know that they're about to get sick. Ooh. And then they don't get sick. Your brain goes, wait, what? No, wait, what? No, what? Your brain pays attention to that. It goes, whoa, there's an exception to the pattern here. This could also help us survive. So learn this, pay attention to this, know this, and here are some good chemicals for paying attention to that. So all of those pattern making and breaking, we're striving to do that as often as possible in stand-up, because it's really more about that than it is necessarily about saying the funniest thing ever. Okay, that's lesson one, patterns. Lesson two, why do we laugh? Why? Why does that happen? Sociologists say that it evolves from imagine, once again, we're all in the woods and we're hunting, right? There's prey, there's predators, and we're all checking out different spots in the woods, and all of a sudden, the bushes rustle. Oh no, last week it was a tiger and it ate Scott. So we all think it's a tiger again. And it's my turn to check out the rustling. Well, I'm afraid of the bushes. So what happens when I'm afraid? Well, I open my eyes really wide to get as much visual stimulation and inputs as possible. I hold my breath. I don't want to give away my position with my scent or my sound. And my muscles are tensed up, ready for a fight. So as I get closer to the bushes, it's rustling. Tensions are rising. We all think that I'm a goner. Getting closer, louder. Oh no, what's gonna happen? And I look into the bushes and it's just some, cute little bunnies kissing, and doing things. It's safe. Okay, well, I need a way to communicate that to everyone else, all my other, friends around the woods. I can't just go, hey, it's safe over here. It's safe, not tiger. Because then if there were tigers, they would know where we are. Any of the prey we were hunting would scatter away. So I need a subtler sign to signal that. Well, what happens when you laugh? You smile, which partially closes your eyes. You ha 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 ha. You're expelling breath. You're not holding your breath anymore. And your muscles, ooh, look at that, ooh, loosey-goosey. So my friends would see that and go, wait. That's not a very defensible position. Why would he be in such a, not safe position if everything's dangerous over there? Oh, this must be one of those times when things are sort of different than what we expected. And also, everything's safe. So, if you want people to laugh, you need to recreate those similar circumstances. Some sort of tension, a danger, an assumption in our mind, that needs to resolve, and everything needs to be safe on the other side. So when we diagnose jokes and bits in stand-up, when a joke goes wrong, it is either you didn't set the tension up correctly or clearly, so the audience didn't have that expectation, you didn't resolve it, so it's still in their mind, or the twist didn't make it change, or it's not safe on the other end. There's residual tension, whether that's from an idea, or whether that's from confusion, or whether that's because someone in the audience is like, oh, no, etc., etc. So if you want people to laugh, you sort of have to do all those steps to get the social signal, which is laughter. So fun little, lesson 2.5, just some fun facts about laughter. So when we laugh, when groups laugh, they make eye contact with each other, individuals, and usually the person you're making eye contact with first and the order you make eye contact with, that's either the person that you like the most, your love interest or your best friend, that's someone that you are the closest to, like a family member or once again a close friend, or the person you respect the most, like a teacher or a boss or a role model. So watch as you and your friends and family laugh, watch who makes eye contact with whom first, because it is very telling. Basically, socially, that's saying, everything's safe over here. Let me check on my closest person first and make sure everything's safe where they are. Okay, it is? Okay, it's safe where they are. And similarly, when there are power dynamics, it can shut laughter down. For example, in an office setting, if a boss doesn't laugh, everyone else probably won't laugh too, because they don't want to be like, I'm making things seem okay when the boss says that they are not okay. Something else to look out for. Additionally, nervous laughter. The reason it's so unnerving to us is because with the social signal of laughter, I'm trying to signal to you that, hey, everything's okay, easy breezy, chill out. But with my body language, I'm like, everything's not okay, there's danger here. So it's unnerving because there's conflicting signals in that moment. And then finally, a fun one, in movies or TV, just media in general, if they want to introduce us to a character that's either like an alien or a robot or a sociopath, something not quite like human or whatever about them, they'll usually introduce us to that character alone in a room, laughing maniacally. Or like the alien, ha 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 ha. Because we see that and we go, no, that's not how you use that social signal. Something's not quite right about this person. And similarly, when we say we want someone with a good sense of humor, usually that means we just want someone that sees tension in the same moments we see tension, i.e. thinks like us. So it's kind of like saying nothing. When you say, I want someone with a good sense of humor, it's like, I want someone who thinks the way I do and generally won't cause tension and can chill with me. That's what that means, basically. Okay, without further ado, lesson 3, the rule of threes. Oh, you're so smart, William. Oh, I can't believe you did that. Oh my God. Okay, so if you haven't heard, there's something called the rule of threes in comedy. And why is it the rule of threes and not 1 or 2 or the funniest number, 69? Okay, well, it is the rule of threes because of this idea. Take a point in space, right? A point in space. Draw a line through this point with your mind right now. You can do it right now. Just draw whatever trajectory you want. Okay, was it this line? Was it this line? Was it this line? It could have been any of those. Any of those are viable. For example, if I say red and ask you what's next in the pattern, it could be red, yellow, blue. It could just as easily be red, bled, dead, things that rhyme with ed, or it could be read, swam, ran. It could be past tense verbs. We don't know yet from one point. However, let's say you take, oh my goodness, 2 points in space, 2 points. Great, draw a line through these 2 points with your mind right now. Okay, yeah. Was it this line? Was it this one? It had to be. There is only one line that goes through those 2 points. So, as soon as you have 2 points, you have a trajectory, you have an expectation, you have a tension, which, with the third point, you can break, you can resolve, you can change, you can subvert. So that's why it's 1, 2, 3. For example, if I say red, yellow, well, then we know the next one in the pattern isn't bled or dead or swam or ran, because red, yellow establishes that we are in the pattern of colors. Okay, so back to lesson 2 about creating a tension and then resolving it and adding that to the rule of threes. If I go red, yellow, blue, that's not funny by the writing itself. I can force it to sort of sound like a joke if I really push performative patterns on it. Like if I'm like, red, yellow, blue, right? But that's more about the performative side of things than it is about just the written word, the ideas. Similarly, so why is that not funny? It's because there was no breaking of the expectation. I'm like, okay, yeah, everything happened as I thought it would, and there are no surprises. Okay, let's take a different example. Red, yellow, horse. Okay, that's not quite funny either. Why? Because I say horse, which breaks the pattern, but then in your mind you're like, what? Why did he say horse? Horse? Does that horse? Why? How does that? Why would that ever come next? And that question in your mind of like, why horse? That's a tension. So things aren't safe on the other side. There's still a tiger in a different bush. No laughter will be had. But if I go red, yellow, beluga whale. Okay, you're like, oh, I see. It broke the pattern because it's not quite a color, but it's beluga whale, so I see why it fits. Oh, I see what he did. Ha 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 ha. And that's more of a joke because you see the reason for saying it, and you also see how it subverts the tension. And there's no questions left in your mind. You still might be like, why did you say beluga whale? But I sort of get it because of the color. So not the strongest, but it's the example I use for this lesson. Okay, next lesson, rule of threes, part 2. You can do the rule of threes with your writing, like we just did. You can also do it with your performance, as I kind of implied with the red, yellow, blue example. I'm going to tell you a joke. It's going to sound like a joke, but it's going to be incomplete gibberish. Okay, ready? Dabba dabba, dabba dabba, habba babba. Okay, why did that third line sound like a punchline? Well, it's because I went up with my melody, establishing an upward melodic, sort of cadence, and then I went down, I broke the pattern. So it sort of says like, you laugh here. And you can do that with melody, like I just did. You can do that with speed, da da ba ba, da ba ba ba, da ba ba ba, right? Slow, slower, fast. You can do that with volume, da ba ba ba, da ba ba ba, da ba ba ba. And you can also with volume, and you can do that with what I call like stank or personality. So like da ba ba ba, da ba ba ba, da ba ba ba. And so add character or a different sort of, really it's how you're saying it and how like the intonation inside your instrument is. There are lots of ways to add performative rules of three on top of written rule of threes. You can also do it with physicality, like went to the store, I went to the hotel, I went to the worst place I've ever been in my life. So I am doing it physically. And the more you can layer these on top of each other with the writing, the more that punchline hits with like a, okay, you laugh now sort of moment. And you can push the audience to laugh more than they would have otherwise. Okay, so here are some exceptions to the rule of threes. At this point in the workshop, a lot of people are like, what about one-liners, William? One-liners exist. What about one-liners? That's not three, that's one. Okay, so usually one-liners, they don't need the first two rungs in the pattern because the tension that they're resolving is tension from life, whether that be there's like wordplays or turns of phrases, how we normally use words as the tension we're drawing from. It can be like slogans from, jingles or companies, so it's sort of like known knowledge that we own, that we all have. It can be emotions. A lot of times we assume other people have emotions and we kind of assume what their deal is, but people very rarely in life just confess their emotions. So if you do that on stage, a lot of times the audience will be like, oh, I did think, like, I love beans. The audience will be like, oh, I did think that they love beans, and I'm glad that I'm rewarded for thinking that and kind of knowing their deal. And you will get like a, oh, ha, 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 ha. Or similarly, like, oh, I love beans too. I feel seen, ha, ha, ha. And then finally, there's this concept of like, comedy speaks truth to power. In life, there are many tensions from the different sort of, like political and power structures that weigh on our lives, and by calling that out, a lot of times the audience will be like, yes, I do feel like that was weighing in on me. I feel seen, and I'm glad other people notice that too, and other people feel that. So like this unspoken tension of like, yeah, that is how it is, and I'm glad that someone is finally saying that, ha 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 ha. So that's where you get like the very big like political comics who mostly sort of like do that, or like jesters back in the old days to kings, etc., etc. So one-liners have that tension built in. For example, it takes a lot of balls to play golf the way I do. Okay, it's just like one line. What makes that funny? Well, there's the phrase, takes a lot of balls, which is normally meant sort of metaphorically as like chutzpah or moxie, but I'm using it literally as sort of like that takes a lot of balls, as in golf balls, to play golf the way I do, implying I lose a lot of balls. And so the audience goes like, okay, why did he say that phrase kind of funny? Oh, it's because he's using that word in a way that we wouldn't assume was normal if this was just like an everyday conversation. So that's like how one-liners work. Then finally, there's something that I've dubbed parallel paths, which is kind of like the rule of twos. And think about a heist movie, right? A heist movie, they'll explain the heist to you beforehand when they're practicing the heist. We're gonna drop in from the ceiling. We're gonna break into the vault. We'll carry out the gold by hand, put it in the getaway car, and then we'll get away. Why are they doing that? Why are they explaining the heist instead of just showing it to you? They're doing that so that when it happens later, you'll know when things go wrong. Like, oh, we can't get into the ceiling. There's cameras here. Oh, we gotta go in through the back. Oh, the lock isn't the one that we thought it was. We have to pull the safe out of the wall. And the getaway car is not what we expected. We gotta take it in the subway. That builds suspense, expectations in your mind. And you can do the same thing with comedy. Take the audience on a journey one time, and then when you take them on another journey that's similar, they'll start to get that like, oh, I know how it should have been, so I know why this is funny. I know what tensions this is resolving from that expectation. For like, on my perfect day, I'm awake by 6 o'clock. I eat a healthy breakfast, I work out, and then I meet my friends at night. Okay, great, one journey. On a bad day, I'm not awake till noon. I'm scarfing down Pop-Tarts, and I'm just in my bed scrolling on my phone all day. So it's sort of like, you know from the first ring how it should be, how I want it to be, and in the second run, you know how things went wrong. So then you can go, oh, ha, 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 I see what happened. So there are lots of other nuances, but those are sort of the big overarching foundations of comedy, at least how I look at it. So when you look at our stand-up analysis videos, anytime we're looking at a joke, we're looking at those tensions, those resolutions, and if there is true safety on the other side of those things. I'm going to be making more of these to sort of talk about how to write comedy or add slight jokes to stories, presentations, stand-up, and add on top of that the performance element all the way up to being on stage. But if you've made it this far, hey, give us a like, give us a comment, subscribe, hit that noti bell, and there should be more videos, hopefully lessons, etc., appearing on screen right now. Check them out if you want to learn more.